So can you guess what we're talking about today?
There are as many different tripods as there are types of cameras, and we've used just about all of them.
This in front of us are our actual tripods that we own. And in this video, we're going to be talking about why we have so many and why maybe you don't need so many. Stick around. So this is the first tripod I ever bought. It's a Manfrotto, and I was getting into photography, and I said, all right, I'm gonna get a tripod. And I went and looked at it, and as you can see, I'm a tall guy, and it kind of works for me. You know, it's a good size, but when you fold it up, it's not really travel friendly. It's a little bit too long, and as you can see, I'm having trouble with the little clamps at the bottom here. So it wasn't too long before I realized I needed a smaller tripod.
Especially shooting in the parks, walking around Disney all day, you don't want a big tripod that you carry around with you all day that's heavy, that's going to weigh you down. You want something light and easy to carry.
But now, you still use this one, and when we were shooting the video that we shot in, the New York skyline video, Eric actually brought this one, and there were times when you might want something that's a little steadier, a little stronger, and you want a little more control. We weren't rushing around, we weren't traveling, so you had time, right?
Yeah, this is a Manfrotto. It folds up relatively small and light, but this head is a geared head, which is actually large and bulky and fairly heavy. So carrying it around all day in like the Disney parks, it's really not great for that. But hiking, when I can put it on my backpack, short distances, just to have it with me, I always go to something like this, which is much more sturdy and much more reliable. But again, the trade-off is the extra size and weight.
Right. But for traveling, like when we have to go on planes or things like that, the next move for me was I bought this. It's a Me Photo Road Trip, and this is one that I know a lot of photographers use and buy. It's inexpensive. I think it's about $189, and I bought it because it wasn't super expensive, and it folded up small, and I was able to fit it in a backpack. And that is basically the Manfrotto equivalent,
right?
Right?
This is the Manfrotto equivalent of that. Here, this is folded up. This is just like Bill's Me Photo. This is the Manfrotto version. It folds up very small and light. The problem is when I'm shooting and I have this thing all set up, I have to actually get my camera set up, get the shot set up, and then wait for the tripod to stop jiggling around a little bit before I actually take the shot.
And
so
it's
the
not very
trade-off
tall
is
either, right?
It's not very tall. It's basically, this is as tall as you're going to get. So if you need to shoot over people, if you want to shoot over people's heads, it's not going to be tall enough for that.
Right, and now open up the legs on that. Very easy to open these clip-type legs. One of the reasons that I went away from this tripod is because there are 4 sections, and by the end of a day, packing this back up, I would actually have blisters from opening and closing it. Each turn requires, a lot of effort. You can see this is not an easy one to pack up, okay? And if any of you have this or used it, you know what I'm talking about. When it folds up, it's fine. It's a decent tripod when it folds up. It's small, it's packable. But if you're using your tripod all day long, opening and closing it and opening and closing it, it becomes cumbersome. So this is a great starter travel tripod. It's not super expensive, but just know that eventually these twist locks are going to get frustrating, and you may want to throw it at something at some point.
So we've really found over time a real nice compromise between a tall, sturdy, heavy tripod and a really small, lightweight, but a little bit flimsy travel tripod like the ones that we just showed you. And those are the 5-sole tripods that we've been using for the past couple of years.
So what's this one right here, though? What's going on with this one?
This is a slick carbon fiber, so it's lightweight.
It's super light. When I picked it up.
Yeah, it folds up fairly small and light. It's very sturdy. This is as high as it goes. This is as tall as it can get. What we're always looking for, especially in the Disney parks, especially shooting fireworks, is height. We want to be able to get up over, you've been there, you're ready to shoot your fireworks, and all of a sudden people crowd in, people put kids on their shoulders, there's balloons flying above. You want to be able to get up over all of that. And the only way to do that is really to get a tripod that extends at least to 6 feet or even higher, which this big heavy Manfrotto one does, and we found these 5-sole tripods that extend to 6 feet plus also.
Yeah, and not only when we're shooting, in the Disney parks, but if you're in an area, like let's say, you know, you're at a photo spot that everybody wants to be at, like we were in the city and there were a line of photographers, sometimes you can actually step behind someone, raise your tripod above them. So if they're working off a tripod that's this high, and I step behind them, and I want to raise this up, you know, I can go like this, and then go up again. And now I can actually, and with the camera on top, you know, you can actually shoot over people sometimes. So the versatility in this one is great. And I just want to show you how quickly it folds up. And listen, we don't get, you know, we paid for these tripods. We don't get endorsed by Faisal. We just found something that actually works and we try to help you guys out. But, so when this one folds up, you, so I just want to show you how quickly the collars lock and unlock on the legs here. One twist. All three in one twist. And this has been a huge time saver for me. And then flip it up and close it. And that to me was huge. So it folds up, you know, almost the same size as this. It's a little bit bigger, but I get almost a foot of height over this. And the same thing when I open it. All three in one shot.
And it's much sturdier when you have it all set up. It's
Right.
much sturdier than the small travel tripod.
It's a carbon fiber. It's, what are these, about 400?
Yeah, the Faisols are more expensive.
Yeah, they're more expensive.
But, you know, it replaces probably 2 or 3 other tripods that you'd be using.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, other options that you have if you can't carry a tripod around with you, or places that you can't really even bring tripods into. You've all heard of gorilla pods. There's one over there. There's one over here. Basically, what this is 3 legs. You screw your camera right onto there, and then you can just stand it up like a tripod like this. You can wrap it around things. These things bend. You can wrap it around a fence post.
There's all different sizes, and you can actually mount a ball head on here if you want also. There's ball heads for these, so you can put a ball head on it and, you know.
Right, you're trading stability a little bit for the fact that it weighs almost nothing and you can have it with you all the time. We found the Platypod last year at a photo expo, which is basically a steel plate. You screw a tripod head onto here. This lays on the ground, and now you have basically what's not even a tripod. You just have a stable support on the ground. This is great for bringing into places where you can't have a tripod. If the tripod's not allowed, you can actually bring this in with you and use it as a tripod. You can do it right on the ground. You can put it on top of something like a fence post or a garbage pail or something like that.
Ledge or anything, yeah.
Anything that you want, and use it as a tripod. It's a great support. In a pinch, I've used things like a t-shirt, a towel. I've used my sneaker. Set your sneaker up on the ground and, you know, prop it. It's, again, you're trading off stability a little bit for, you know, just for convenience, having something with you all the time.
Yeah,
so yeah, a shoe, anything. Don't be afraid to use something that you just find nearby to help you prop something up.
These are monopods. So if you're shooting like maybe your kids' sports or something like that, these are great to have, especially if you're using a long lens that's heavy. It'll support the camera and the lens, and you're able to, you know, quickly move. You know, you want to move the shot, you can do what you have to do, and you're not supporting the weight of the camera. So these are always good to have. But we've accumulated all of this over the course of years. And so if you're new to photography and you're just getting into this and you're like baffled, I mean, we walked around the Photo Plus Expo for hours, right?
Yep.
Opening and closing
Hundreds of different tripods.
I mean, really, I was in the market for a tripod. I knew I wanted something new, and I literally opened and closed every tripod there. And you know, this is the one I settled on because it just seemed to work for me. And I know some of you might say when this is extended, I'm losing some stability, and that might be true. But I've been using it now for a few years, and I've had no issues with anything like that. So really the point of this video is just to kind of, you know, it might be worth spending the money up front on a decent tripod that you think is going to fit your needs for a long term than going through what we did with all of that. I mean, there's thousands of dollars here in tripods, and we really only use one. Right?
Basically, that's it. We're down to one tripod each that we use. But it's the one that works perfectly for us now. You know, other than the actual camera and maybe a lens, the tripod is probably the most important piece of equipment that you have. So you definitely want to get one. You definitely want to get a good one, but definitely make sure it's one that you're going to carry around with you. Don't get one that's too heavy that you're going to say when you're going out, I don't feel like bringing it. It's too heavy. It's too cumbersome. have one that you're going to bring out with you every time, even in the daytime. It's not just for nighttime. Even in the daytime, you want to have the tripod with you all the time.
You know, Faisal is a small company, and I don't know, they're just like flying under the radar for some reason, but we really enjoy their tripods. We have friends that have different brands also. There's plenty of great tripods out there, and they're all different price ranges. So this works for us. So don't be afraid to head into a camera store and spend some time, or go to an expo and just sit there and mess around with them. Try to think of how you're going to use them, how many times you're going to open and close them in a day. This way you can get a real feel for it and see how it's going to work for you. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, please, and click the little notification bell if you want more videos from us like this.
Definitely subscribe to the channel so you get videos like this and the other ones that we're doing. We're going to put links to the tripods that we use down in the description below, so definitely check those out.